Hey, it's Derick Gant. It is High Vibes. I am the money coach, and I also have my partner, my person.
Hi, I am Dawn L. Johnson of the Dawn Johnson Experience, and we are all about everything high vibing. So let's get with it.
What? High vibing. That's what we do. Now listen, if you want to have a place to go that's not full of bullshit, it's not full of negativity, but spitting a little truth, adding a little bit more truth on top of that truth, so that ultimately you get a lot and that you can use to improve your life. Because we believe that High Vibe is about leveling up in a positive way, using some tools, some techniques, some understanding, some knowledge, some perspectives that may be a lot different than what you catch in social media. This is the place to be. What do you think, Coach Dawn? You agree with that?
Absolutely. It's all about the vibes, and vibes are the same as the energy. How do you show up? What is within you that shows up in every aspect of your day to day? And we are all about those vibes. And so let's talk about it. Let's figure out, how can we be high vibing naturally in every aspect of our lives? So that's what all of this is
Amen
about.
and
That's how
amen.
we came together. It was the vibes
Amen and
that brought
amen.
us into this space together. And I saw myself in him, and he saw himself in me. And that's just such a beautiful place to be aligned in doing this work. I'm a life and mindset coach, and he is a dope money coach. And we come in here as a dope couple to talk about all the things that all of us have concerns about, all of us deal with every day, as couples, as friends, as entrepreneurs. Ooh, that adds a whole other caveat to the dynamic. So we are very excited to bring this high vibing platform to all of you, to bring you in to this dope space and to do the work necessary to be your best high vibing self.
Amen and amen. So listen to me clearly. If you like what she just said, you need to subscribe to the channel. Matter of fact, you just need to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel right now, because we're going to be here week in, week out. You can let us know if there's a topic that you want us to address, or if you want to know more about, or if you just want our opinion. Let me tell you, we are both happy to give it, right? So make sure.
Wait, whoa.
What?
That's
Whoa,
where
whoa,
we
whoa.
differ. That's where we differ.
Oh, we differ?
Okay, we differ on that. You
What?
can give your opinion from your
Uh-huh.
area of expertise, right?
Absolutely.
As a life coach, my job is to be your guide to your own answers. I don't like giving advice,
I'm going to tell you what to do.
but he's going to tell you. That's that
To
alpha,
the chase.
right? That's that
To the chase.
divine masculine energy. He's going to come boom straight in your face. Now I'm going to do it my way. But again, my job is to bring it out in you, because true transformation is when you dial in and get connected to your own high vibing answers.
I love it. It's
A
true.
little bit of yin and yang in here for you guys today.
It's true. It's true. That's facts. That's facts. But no matter which way you decide to go, like and subscribe and follow us. So today, something popped up in our purview recently. And so our inaugural launch. Now we did a video. A couple of years ago. Was it a couple of years? Maybe about a year ago. And it was a great video. And I was interviewing Coach Dawn about her life story, about her transition from her 9 to 5 to her entrepreneurial experience. And I got my ass chewed. Not a lot, but a little bit. And not by Coach Dawn. It was like other women that were like, dude, you were talking over her. You got to let her finish. I'm this time bandit. Like, I'm a planner, so everything comes in a box for me, or at least it used to. So this is great for us, because we're going to show up, show out, and help you do what you want to do. You're going to need a couple perspectives. But today, as I said, came into our purview that there's a lot of people that are getting right-sized, wrong-sized, outsized, resized, undersized, oversized, but basically they're getting fired. And who better than a money guy to tell you how to handle the money part of this? How do you handle the money part of this? And a life coach who's experienced this before, who can show you and share with you how to handle that part. So we're going to come and we're going to talk about this whole process of how to handle getting fired, the money and the madness. We're here to talk about. So with that, Coach, why don't you go ahead and jump into your story and kind of give everybody a recap so that, they can know where you're coming from.
Well, I'm definitely going to speak to many of the cliched things, like being fired was the best thing that happened to me. I will just start it right off the rip that this time around in my corporate journey, it was time for me to be released so I could start reimagining who Dawn is. And I couldn't do that working 70 hours a week in corporate America with a high demand, the lack of, all around accountability, the lack of being seen as the only Black woman manager in this corporate space. And I just felt like the square peg in the round hole. Yeah, I spent 22 and a half years being the square peg in the round hole and truly trying to show up and be seen, truly trying to have the work ethic, truly trying to assimilate into a culture that just truly never accepted me. And so therefore that did a number on my self-worth. However, the firing and being released allowed me to sit and be still and sit in that pain, to sit in that trauma, because it is traumatizing to lose your job. And so this time around, after 22 and a half years, it was time for me to move in the direction that I was always meant to do and always meant to be. But I followed the traditional path like many of you, right? You made good grades in high school. You went to college and made great grades there. You graduated. And then you moved into a job, a 9 to 5, something that was stable, something that would allow for you to build a family, buy a house, all of those things. And I did that path and I did it exceptionally well. And I learned so much. And that is the thing you have to realize. Once you are fired, dismissed, you feel a lack of self-worth. But sometimes we've got to sit in this space and recognize we all have gifts. We all have purpose. We just need a little space. Being fired allowed that to happen for me, to really dig into who is Dawn, and it's time to move in that authentic direction of who I really am. And I have been on go, go, go ever since, or flow, flow, flow ever since.
The go and the flow. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
So when you think about your original, the reality of when you got your pink slip, did you see it coming? Did you prepare for it? Did you things were not so cool?
Yes. I mean, yes, the feeling of being alienated is palpable in corporate culture. And me knowing that I didn't fit and I truly didn't belong I got reminded of that literally every day. And so when my time was up, I had to realize I needed to heal from decades of microaggressions, decades of not being accepted and excluded, decades of the trauma of just being in a space where, my value and my worth was never seen. And so now to be on the other side of that, I have been able to do things that I was always told that I would never be allowed to do, or really have the experience or the background or the skills or knowledge to do.
Okay.
Not on this side of it, baby. Not on this side.
So from the money side, my question is, if you saw it coming, did you start preparing? Did you start preparing for what was next? Are you stacking more cash? Are you looking for another job? Are you putting resumes out? What was that like?
Yeah, I knew that I wasn't going back to corporate culture. I knew that.
No, I mean when you saw it coming, not before you got the pink slip. You said the question was, did you feel it? You're like, yeah, it was uncomfortable all the time.
Yes.
So did you start to prepare financially for that as it came up? or
Mm.
not really?
The real answer is no. Is
Okay.
no. I mean, really, in corporate America and everything that I was doing, I was essentially living paycheck to paycheck.
Okay.
And working 60, 70 hours a week. So there was actually no time to prepare. There wasn't space to go look for a job. And nor did I have the mental and emotional or the physical capacity to do any of the things until I had the opportunity to be set free. So no, I probably will be in the majority of
Mhm.
women who are head of household. I am a divorced mom and I have 3 sons. And so, no, there was no safety net for me. And I had to dig into some of my savings. I needed that
Okay.
money to work for me to bridge until I was able to launch into my
Right.
entrepreneurial life.
Okay. So I would say from my side, I would say, look, if you're out there as the head of your house, man or woman, whatever it is, and you get the gut feeling that it ain't right, something's popping off, right? Or you about to pop off, right? So you don't have a choice but to begin to figure out how to handle this situation. So from a financial perspective, it's like all hands on deck. Like, I need to go find somebody that's going to help me move away from check to check. I
Mhm.
need to find someone that's going to help me plan and strategize. I need to figure out how to get my resume tight, or what my next move is going to be. And maybe I need to find somebody that can help me with these microaggressions and the process. So what I'm really saying is that, hey, you need a financial consultant and you need a life coach, right? I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy. We didn't talk about this or set this up, but it's true. You need a money dude or a person that goes, okay, well, where are we? Well, I know I don't need to be check to check. How do I get away from that? I know I don't want to go annihilate my savings. So how do I not do that? And I know that it could be around the corner. The pandemic could be around the corner. Being let go, being right side, outside could be around the corner. And when we think about it, and we say, well, there was no time for that because as a single person head of the household, I was wearing all these hats.
Mhm.
But the key component, what Coach Dawn said, was she had a savings to go attack. And I would say, as a financial consultant, that 85% of working families don't have $400 anywhere.
Mhm.
So if you really are in a spot, you can't afford not to really dive in and take a look at how to avert some of this, how to offset some of these things as you look to move forward, as you know something might come. And what a better way to be in than to be in control of a transition than to be the recipient of somebody else's conclusion that you're not being valued or worth, keeping. What do you think?
I I think that you're absolutely correct in a
I
perfect
do.
in a
In a
perfect world.
perfect world. Okay. Okay.
In a perfect world, yes, you're absolutely correct. But
Okay.
like I said, I'm gonna come from the contrasting viewpoint that it wasn't perfect for me. I didn't have all the answers. I didn't think it, because I didn't have the opportunity. I thought I would literally, retire from corporate America. I really did.
Right.
Even though it felt difficult every day, it was hard every day to get up out of bed and go do the job. It was
Right.
my job. It was my career. And so, yes, in a perfect world, I would have had all of those things. It was
Well,
not it
that's
wasn't
what
perfect for
we're here
me.
for, right? We're here to
Yes,
share our experiences and say, look, first
seek
of
the
all, we know there's no such thing as a perfect world, and we both know that. But I can tell you, and you can tell everybody else, look, let's figure it out. Let's figure out. You might not be able to get all of that I mentioned, but you can start some of it.
yes.
Some of it, like even with me, I wrote a book, and it's like, look, get the book and read how to restructure this shit.
Mhm.
Um,
Fact.
hey, I have a mobile app that's $24 a month. I mean, you might not be able to afford the full tilt Derick Gant money management, but you can afford, to start figuring this game out.
Mhm.
Um, Coach Dawn has some tools on the mobile app. So you can go out if you're serious. And granted, single head of household, I've dealt with thousands of these individuals. And it's the ones that decide, come hell or high water, they're going to start to figure it out. Not all at once, but they're going to start. So I'm saying from my side, look, there's some spidey senses, especially from the female side. Us guys, we think they're going to let me go. I'm the dude. I'm the dude's dude. They're not going to let me go. But you women, you guys got spidey senses. And you know when shit's not right. You know when things aren't flowing just so. And I'm suggesting that when you get those tinglings, or maybe they're just blatantly in your face, somebody should say, yeah, this check thing ain't gonna work for me if I need to go find a job in corporate America, if I need to do my own thing, whatever it happens to be that person's gonna do, they need to start the process of figuring that out for their own mental health is my point.
Oh, 100%. And yes, hiring someone who knows more than you is really supportive and helpful. Okay.
It's the smart move.
It really is the smart move, because they probably made all the mistakes that you will just inevitably make just naturally, because you don't know what you don't know, right? So spend the time to find other dope humans out there. This is what they do. So get with the experts who can be your guides back into financial freedom, back inside your soul and your true authentic self. You align those things together, and there's nothing that you cannot do. But there are.
Amen.
And don't discount any of the free resources, the great books that are out there, the YouTube channels that are a wealth of knowledge and expertise that is out there, for free. And so start with that. And it's just the mere fact that you have to start. You have to move in the direction of the fetal position is just not going to work. And if
you say the fetal position is not going to work,
yes, like you fall into this. Everybody knows what the fetal position looks like. Right? It's like you literally, because I've been there. But this time around, and the change in my life, I wasn't. I literally, forget that fetal position. I was ready for something new. I was ready for something that was more fulfilling. And each and every one of us know what I mean when you get to that fork in the road where you no longer want to do what you've been doing. You no longer want to follow the status quo. And when you get to that time, that is that feeling within that, it's just at the time for me, I did need a little bit of that push, and I haven't looked back.
Working with Dawn, she helped me see that being vulnerable was actually a strength rather than a weakness. In my mind, I equated vulnerability with not being confident. And so I was very afraid to allow women to see that part of me, because it would, in my mind, diminish my leadership capability, my ability to support them as they went through their problems. But actually, it was the opposite. I needed a coach that was stronger than me, a coach that wasn't going to take any bullshit, that wasn't going to let me play small. That was Dawn. And so I knew when Dorothy Inez was needing to up-level herself, I knew exactly who to go to. Dawn does have a process, but it's very organic. She allows you to come in there and share what's on your heart. When somebody's helped you to really tap into who you really are, my word for this year is freedom, and that's exactly how I feel now. I feel 100% free to be who I am and who God has called me to be. Through the work that Dawn and I have done together, it's helped me see that all aspects of who I am and what I'm going through help me to help other women.
So I know that most people tie their identity to being a dad, to being a mom, to being a doctor to being a salesperson to being, to these things. What happens, or what should people consider when their part of their identity is stripped away from them?
Well, first of all, aligning yourself with something that's outside of you can be taken away. Always remember that. If you attach yourself to anything, it can be taken away. It's the inside you. It's the authentic you. It's the purpose driven you. It's the powerful inner workings of your soul. That is your true self. I am, two very powerful words that you can put in front of your name. I am Dawn. And who is Dawn? That is the most important aspect of where I am right now. Because without me being, completely being and understanding and connected to my higher self, I wouldn't be able to be the best mom. I would not be able to be the best partner. I would not be able to be the best life coach and daughter and all of those things without truly being connected to my purpose and passion on this journey.
Right. Well, that's a great answer. That's a great
Yeah,
answer. And
that's one of those flowy answers, right?
I love it.
Miss,
I love
is
it.
that one of those flowy answers? Because I'm going to give
Yeah,
you the flow.
but it's a good answer. I mean, cut straight to the chase. I mean, it's like, you're right. There's no cut to the chase. It's like you can't depend on. I used to, when I was an associate professor, and I was teaching professional development to the students. I'm like, look, you shouldn't identify yourself with even being a parent, because I've seen kids. I have clients right now whose kids have disowned them for whatever stupid reason, right? And usually it's stupid. They had disowned them, and all they ever thought about themselves, like their highest importance was, I'm this person's parent. And the kid no longer talks to them or calls them or blah, 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 and they're just lost.
Yeah.
And so, of course, every athlete known to man, they put the microphone in front of their mouth and they say, hey, who do you want to say something to? Hey, mom, I love you. It's always, hey, mom, and that's great. And we love that as parents, and we deserve that as parents. But if that's your sole identity, you could face a problem. And then now you have then what they call an identity crisis, which could lead to depression, which could lead to you being in fetal position way too long. Exactly. So, yeah, so starting to dig inside of yourself and figuring out, what I did for myself was, my kids turned 18. I said, hey, you're God's now, right? You're not mine anymore. You're God's, right? So God, what you gonna do with your kids? And I told them, I'm a guide, right? I'm a support system. I'm here. If you want some answers, if you want some insight, you can come ask me, but I'm no longer going to tell you, because now you're a grown man, right? I have 2 boys. So you're a grown man. So I'm not gonna longer tell you how to live your life. I've shown you how I live my life as a man. I'm happy to give you my years of experience on what I think about different things, but you're God's kids now. Good luck. But that's how I kept my identity, right? I wasn't sitting around waiting on my kids to do something amazing so I could be proud, right? I'm already proud no matter what they do, as long as they stay out of jail, which is what my mom told me. And so that's good. So we talked about how to handle getting fired, and we're talking about the money and the madness, and we will be right back.
So everybody's been asking me, how can I do this? How can I stay at such a luxurious hotel in North Beach, Miami, called the Sherry? I can do it because of my friend Derick, because I applied the smart money principles that he displayed for us all. Listen, check them out.
Expected, right? If it's expected, then you already have a transition plan. It's unexpected. I'll tell you from a money perspective, Coach Dawn, I'll tell you from her perspective, but Coach Dawn, unexpected termination. What's the next move? How do you decide what the next move is?
Well, I was quite comfortable with starting to speak my truth. Okay. I definitely reached out to my support system to let individuals know, and people in my network who had influence, that I am working on my next big opportunity. I don't have all the answers right in this very moment, but I did. I reached out to my connection, and I started looking at support. how can I get support? And I looked at John C. Maxwell, who is like the
Ooh,
leadership guru, is how I look at John C.
okay,
Maxwell. He's a leadership guru. And he
okay.
also has a background as being a pastor and a minister, and just his way of how he brought people in from all over the globe to get them to honor their true calling, God's calling, their authentic calling. And so I knew that I needed to be in a room with people smarter than me, with people who were already on their path and figuring it out. I needed to be in a room with like-minded people. So I started my journey by being in those rooms and signed up
Okay.
for a workshop to go see John C. Maxwell. And that for me filled my soul up so much to know that I wasn't alone. Because a lot of times when we're fired, there's shame, right? I'm
Oh yeah.
embarrassed. I'm not proud of this moment. Clearly, you must have been bad and you did something wrong to be fired. And yes, that could be the case in some situations, but I would say the majority of situations are people simply being let go because of decisions that the company needs to make, so they can, make more money. And the first
Oh
thing
yeah.
they do is they cut you. They cut humans. You are
Yes,
the
they
most
do.
expensive liability with any organization. Always know that. And so you
Absolutely.
will be the first one to be cut, no matter how awesome your work has been, no matter how great your map reviews have been for decades. They've been exceptional. They simply find a way because it's more important to deal with their bottom line than it is to deal with the humans. And so we are the most disposable. That's why it is so important to find your why. That's why it's so important to now make the pivot and transition to be around like-minded souls and start putting yourself in those rooms.
You weren't thinking money at this point, were you? I mean, you didn't go to John Maxwell to as the next move for money. You just felt in your soul that was the next move for you, to be around like-minded people.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
It
Okay. All
really
right.
was. Again, I had already figured out that, I've got this savings. I have this money
Mhm.
here. I have to use my money. At the time, I'm looking at it as energy. And
Right.
I looked at it as an investment in self. It was my
Absolutely. I love it.
opportunity to prove that out of every dime that I've ever poured into anyone else, the last person that got poured into was me. And this
Yep.
whole
Every
part of
time.
the transition was about me and my transition and investing back in who I know myself to be. And that right there was so incredibly powerful. So yes, I used money as a tool
Hey,
to
it's a great
invest
tool.
in my future.
Best investment anybody could ever make is to invest in themselves. I always tell people that. Number one, invest in you, because when you invest in you, you are going to produce. Simply put, you don't know if you invest in a stock or a bond or ETF that's going to produce. You hope it produces, but you're going to produce, and you're going to benefit. And you're going to grow. So I agree with that 1,000%. So for those of you who get terminated and you don't have a stash or a stack or a pile, I would say that you really do need to take a time out. You really do need to refresh, and maybe you go the old school route. You take a piece of paper, and on one side of the paper you write down all of your amazing attributes, what you're amazing at, what you're good at, what you love, and then on the other side, what you don't like, what you don't want to do. Because if you have to start over, why not pick the thing that's going to be as close to what you want to do or what you feel you want to do as possible. So I say, hey, make this list up and then begin to do this with young people. It's like, look, what's your favorite subject? What subjects are you the best at? What thing you do really well? Some kids are like, oh, I love gaming. Okay, great. Today you can make money creating games. right? There's people now that make money playing games, more money than both of us make together. I mean, they make lots of money being advertised on YouTube for watching, having other people pay to watch them play and be excellent. But the key to that is not the gaming. The key is that they are excellent. They are above and beyond most people. Therefore, other people want to watch their excellence and try to glean some tips from it.
Yes,
It's the same no matter what the subject matter is, right? If you're amazing at something, the dopest life coach you never knew you needed, which is Coach Dawn, which I gave my point right.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
the dopest life coach you never knew you needed, you know, when somebody is amazing at something, other people want to know what's the magic? What's the
Yes.
amazing? How can I capture some of that? And it's not about capturing anything, it's about understanding it and then finding your own magic, right? Finding your own greatness, and then go out there and get that paper.
Yes. Well, as we know, with the flow and the energy, when you are in that space of doing what you love, you know, we hope that, you know, that the money will come. It will come, and it will feel so much better when you put yourself in a position to do impactful, meaningful, purposeful work. That
Absolutely.
we're all here to serve at the end of the day.
Like it or not, like it or
Yes, and
not.
you may right, exactly. You may not love hearing, what do you mean I gotta serve? Yes, that is all of our divine purpose, and it's a divine right to serve.
Yep.
How
Yep.
else do you truly believe that you fill yourself up? You fill yourself up by being and serving and loving. And love is the foundation of all things high vibing, starts with love. And where do you
Amen.
think that love comes from? It comes from within self. So when
Yeah.
Derick talks about figuring out, what am I good at? We do that from a place of love, because that is where your magic is, in the things that you love doing, in the things that people say about you. You know, people, one of the best compliments for me is that, Coach Dawn, I love your energy. Best compliment ever in the universe ever, because it's about energy, and that place of energy only comes from me being able to identify what I'm amazing at.
All right, so it's time for the alpha dog, right? So here's the deal. Here's the thing. Now I'm being serious because this is our first episode. This is our inaugural episode. We have no idea who's going to be watching this, but I got a sneaky suspicion that, like most things, we're going to probably get more women than men, and which is cool. Either way you go. But here's the alpha piece of this. Everything she said is amazingly accurate. However, you women, I'm just going to talk to the women, because us men, we got this mastered. Your self-care module is broke. You know, you give and give and give. You already heard Coach Dawn say it. If she wants to admit it or remember, we can play it back. She talked about she was the last one to be poured into.
Fact.
So while you're serving, you got to take a time out and make sure you recharge your own battery, that you take care of yourself, that you allow yourself to self-care without the guilt, without guilt, so that you can continue to serve. So you make sure you take care of you so that you can continue to serve. And I see so many of my clients, and I'm talking practical experience, that I see these people, mostly women. I run into very few guys that have this issue, right? But most of you women, you give so much at home, at work, and you're with your girlfriends, with your parents, your caretakers, across the board, that you drain your battery down. And now your giving isn't quite as good because you got nothing left to give.
You're depleted. Yes, 100%, 100% depleted. Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's a balance there to make sure that you're aware of, so that you make sure you do both. But I agree with that. I just wanted to add that caveat because I don't want anybody walking away going, man, I thought I'm serving enough. And you might be serving enough, and you might need to take a time out and serve yourself for a little bit and then go back to serving others. But ultimately, we are all here to serve. I'm here to serve some financial genius, to serve some financial genius, and to help people figure out that, and I'm not serving like you should go be rich. I'm serving that you should be able to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, as often as you want to do it, with whom you want to do it with, and not have to worry about the money side. That's my position, right? So I don't care if you're rich or not. I care that you're being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, and you're not worried about that pink slip, because if you get it, you're good. And you may not be good for life, right? But you're good long enough to do the work that Coach Dawn is sharing with you that absolutely has to be done in order to get to that next position and feel good about it. Maybe you take a pay cut because this makes you feel better, but you can afford to do that because you have your financial life in order. So with that,
I have a question for you.
oh,
I have a question for you.
Yes, the answer is yes, baby.
In this process, is
Yes.
the number one focus getting the money?
It's relative to your disposition. It's relative to your disposition. I've run into a lot of people that didn't see it coming. Let's take a look at COVID for an example. When COVID hit, there were millions of people that had no idea what was going to happen because they needed that next paycheck to eat. Okay. They needed that next paycheck to eat. They couldn't hear nothing. They couldn't see nothing. They had to feed themselves, their kids, and their families. So in some circumstances, the answer is unfortunately yes. Okay. If I have a member of my extended family that got her territory was changed and she got let go, but they gave her 3 months severance, so she had a little bit of time. So in that case, my advice was, look, take some time out and really assess the things that we're talking about, because you have 3 months. Now I said, don't act like you have 3 months, act like you have a month and a half. So don't take off 3 months and then decide to go hunting, but take the next 30 days and evaluate. I had a male client that came in and he was going to quit his job. We worked for Verizon. He said he was the manager. He said, it's too much. I can't do it. And I said, yo, time out. How about you ask them check out the family leave, check out. And so he went, he inquired, he found out that he could take 60 days paid. They paid him still. And he took 60 days and we worked together. And I'm not a life coach, but I helped him during those 60 days to identify what stressed him out, to figure out if the job that he was doing was for him. And if it wasn't, we need to get on a hunt. Mm-hmm. Figured out his money, at least enough that, he could maintain. And so it really, I know this is a long answer, but it really is, it depends. Yeah. If you don't have the capacity on what you're going to eat. Now with the pandemic, of course, the government gave everybody more money, every week than what they were actually making. So that was manna from heaven.
Yeah, that was interesting. And
yeah, that was definitely interesting.
Before I met Dawn, I had a successful career. I was, kind of happy in my space, but something wasn't right. I felt like I was just living, just doing. I'm a doer. I didn't even believe in myself. Over the course of, a couple weeks, things started opening up. And she was just this amazing catalyst. As I worked with Dawn, it was so easy. The way I describe it is magic. Like she's just magic. She has really brought me on an incredible journey of self-love and acceptance. She's so authentic, unique in the space, like absolutely there, absolutely present, listens with, 10 different ears. Like she just has this way of just understanding. And I believe that she gave me the power to believe in myself. I feel so much more self-aware, self-confident, self-assured. So I'm really able to be comfortable with me in my own power, me being really okay with who I am no matter what happens. My whole being is more at peace.
So I literally have clients right now that don't have enough money to buy groceries because they spent the money before they got their check. So they take an advance on their check. That's how bad it is for people. So the answer is relative, and we want to be real on this show.
Yeah.
And the real is that most people won't, but we're trying to get you to think about this before you're in that position, so that if you ever get in that position, you can take some time and not make money, number one. That would be my answer.
No, I couldn't agree more. And yes, there is a vast scope of individual situations that we all don't want to dismiss, that
Right.
we are all coming, from a different place, especially, financially. And, in a perfect world, we would be, good and solid to be able to make that leap. But to be quite honest, most of us are not. And so just keeping it real, we do understand
No, absolutely.
that most folks are, don't have the savings. And
Right.
the biggest thing that I would say that came up as we moved into, the pandemic of 2020, right? And the whole world shutting down. A lot of us actually found our opportunity. We found our why.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
So many
Yep.
of us, for the very first time, and I know many of you can relate to this, it was your first time being still.
Yep.
It was your first time actually having to deal with self for the very first time. Some of us were alone, and all you had was you and your thoughts.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
facts.
you and your
Facts.
thoughts, and and we all know that and you may not know that we all have 60,000 thoughts. Women have up to 70,000 thoughts a day, and
Yep.
most of those thoughts aren't good.
Hey.
So for me, I found the opportunity to support the collective, because mental wellness far exceeded money for many people at the time.
And
Many
still.
people, and
And
still,
still.
it was
No.
the mental piece, it was the emotional piece, it was the devastation of many people lost. And a lot of people took that opportunity to be reflective, to go inward, to figure out, okay, this is an opportunity. The government, did step up, and
Right.
again, we can look at it from multiple different angles. Okay, because there's a lot of pros and cons that went
Yeah.
on to 2020. I am not here to debate any of those things. Okay. It just
Yeah.
is. Some folks
Okay.
got some checks that were more than what they were actually making. And hopefully you saved some money. Hopefully you took that to invest
Hey.
in you. And
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Them people that was going out getting BBLs because they had some extra money.
Ooh,
Jesus.
ooh,
Lord Jesus.
ooh,
Lord
no,
Jesus.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen. We want to leave you always with an opportunity. And so Coach Dawn is taking it upon herself to tell you what book that we think will be beneficial in this type of scenario. So you want to grab that
Yes,
and
I have
share
it.
that book with everybody?
I have it. Okay. It's a cute little book called Strength Finders. It's been around forever,
Okay.
but
Strength
as
Finders. Who's
Strength
the author?
Finders, it is by Don Clifton.
Okay.
Discover your Clifton strengths. And as Derick talked about, when you are in transition, finding out what your gifts are, what you're excellent at, this book helps you. If you're struggling and can't get out of your head, there's a great test in here that can show you where am I most excellent. And it really supports you in honing in on those things. And you might surprise yourself on what those great things are. So
Yay.
yes, this is my recommendation.
All right. Well, listen, we need you to like and subscribe to the channel. We need you to share it with your loved ones or not so loved ones that need a little bit of help. Everybody needs a little help. We just said that, right?
Yes,
So
100%.
we want you to like and subscribe. And in the information, we're going to put how you can contact Coach Dawn if you want to find out more about a life coach, about getting a guide. She's already told you she ain't going to tell you, but she's going to help you figure out how to figure it out. And she's
Amen. I like,
amazing.
oh, wait, hold up.
What?
Wait, whoa, Jim.
What?
She's gonna guide you to figuring it out. That's I mean, let's just make it real simple. Yes.
Yes.
Guide you to you.
There you go.
Now, I move all the stuff out of the way that's getting in your way of figuring out your truth.
And that's why we make a good team, because I'm gonna tell your ass what to do. But it ain't gonna help you, right? In the big picture, you got to figure it out. So my solutions help you right away. Her solutions help you right away and long term. And I also will help you with your money situation. So we can help you figure out how to begin to maneuver, to make progress, and understand, Coach Dawn already said it. You can do anything you put your mind to if it's in your heart, if you make a commitment and you move it forward step by step. Yeah. So we are so thankful that you decided to watch our inaugural episode of High Vibe, and we want you to come back. We'll do that next week.
All right. Thank you, and be well.